All right, you guys, this is Alyssa. She's wonderful. She helps me do all the things to make the stuff go into the internet. Oh, who's here? We're going to see Alyssa, Jackie, Melanie, promote to panelists. Yes. All right. Thank you. Sorry.
That's okay.
The pressure.
There we go.
I've been excited about this all day. Melanie, Jackie, T, where are you guys from? If you want, you can put it in the chat. We're just going to get started really like in a minute or two. Oh, I'm so pumped about this. Look, I have seltzer. We're going to do a training. So guys, for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Brie Sodano. I'm the founder of From Sheep to Sharks and a personal finance expert. Oh, California. Wow. So you are up early today. Fantastic. Let's see. All right. All right, we are just about 2 minutes out from getting started. This is going to be so good. We are going to be talking about the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. I'm super pumped about it. Like jazz hands. All right.
We got somebody local, Litchfield.
Oh, Litchfield. Oh, Jackie. Oh, hello. All right. And then we will have the screen share that's ready. Look at, we got slides for this for you guys. It is looking good. Okay. Oh no. Okay. All right, we are just about 1 minute out. So I'm Brie Sodano. This training is the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. And we are just about ready to go. So I'm going to get the screen share on. Get this ready to go. Oh, look, we have a couple new people. So we have like 1 more minute. So if you want to take a second and tell us where you're from, that'd be awesome. Okay, we're gonna close that out. All right, it is 10 o'clock, so we are gonna go. All right, so cash flow day, the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. So that's why you guys are here today. And the reason I put the system together is threefold. The first is budgets and cash envelope systems. They just don't work. Your brain hates budgets. Cash flow envelopes is just not, it just doesn't work in real life. Debt-free is not the starting point for wealth. There are some other gurus out there that talk about you have to be debt-free before you can start saving, and I don't agree. I think that's ludicrous. I think that idea holds people back more than any other idea in finance. And I'm going to show you guys the invisible system that I teach to my clients. It took me years to develop, and it's tried and true. It's tested, it works, and it's customizable. All right, so you guys are probably here because money problems suck, and it's in almost all the cases that I've worked with anybody, it's not a lack of resources that's the problem. It is a cash flow management problem, and that's so common cash flow problems. So you might have a cash flow problem if money is a big stress for you in your life. If you feel like your money comes and goes way too fast. If you want to save, but the money disappears and you never really seem to be able to. If you've opened your statements and then wondered if you've been robbed, if somebody stole your identity, and then you read it and you're like, oh no, I did. I did all of it. I did that. I went there. I did buy that. Oh, I did drink that. I did eat that. You know, if you have credit card debt, if you pay overdraft fees or late payment fees, and if you are not saving or spend, like if you're not saving or if you're spending money out of savings, those are all common cash flow problems. And so mastering cash flow is the only way to make progress toward financial independence. That's the truth. If you ever hear about lottery winners that end up bankrupt 3 years after. It's because if you're not good with a little, having more doesn't help. And so real financial independence is when your assets generate enough money that you can cover your living expenses. That's real financial independence. That's when you get to choose whether or not you continue to work. And a lot of times we talk about it as retirement, but believe me, you can get to retirement and not be financially independent, or you can be financially independent way before you stop working. Oh, excuse me. All right. So what I want to say as we get started is budget fails are not your fault. They're just not. Brains aren't meant to do budgets. You probably don't want to live like a pauper. These are reasons that people, they try to do it and then it doesn't work. So you don't want to live like a pauper. Once you understand money systems, you can stop getting screwed. You can get Sally Mae and the credit card companies off of your back, and you want to know what to do, and you need a system that works in real life. So in the next 60 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact system that I teach my imperfect clients who have busy lives. They don't need to budget. They don't need to use cash envelopes. They don't need to live like a pauper, and they don't need to suck all the fun and enjoyment out of their life either. And so neither do you. Okay. So if you guys stay all the way to the end, I'm going to give you some of the super cool worksheets that we're going to go over a little bit. And so that way you can start to review your own cash flow. All right, so a little bit about me. So I worked in the nonprofit sector for 10 years before I went into finance. And there was 2 points in that 10 years that's worth telling you about. The first was I was super happy. I was the team director at the Boys and Girls Club. I was going to work from I got there at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and I stayed till 7. And I was playing video games and reading excerpts of Twilight to teenagers, and I loved it. But I was making 40 grand, and I had a baby and a mortgage by then, and I just couldn't do it. So I taught myself how to trade stock options to do the shortfall and make up the shortfall so that way I could have the life that I wanted. And then the second time is I burned out. I was just exhausted. I'd been there 10 years. I was still making not enough money. I was putting in a lot of hours that were just above and beyond the salary, and I just got tired. I burned out. So I took a job with Edward Jones. And so Edward Jones is a big brokerage firm. And I got all my licenses, my 7, my 66, all my insurance licenses. And while I was doing that work, I realized that most people don't have the problem of, oh, Brie, I have so much money that I just need you to help me pick out my investments because I don't have time to do that. That sounds like a great problem to have, right? And that wasn't the problem. Most people were coming to see me that they wanted to invest, but they couldn't because they had these credit cards that they wanted to pay for their kids' college, and they couldn't because they couldn't find the money to do it. And so as I started to transition my practice and eventually start my own firm, I started doing this because I've watched clients' budget fail, and I understand what works and what doesn't because I've tested, I've done this with hundreds of clients. So this workshop is for you if you make good money, but it seems to disappear. If you have student loans, credit cards, and other debt weighing on you, if you feel overwhelmed or frustrated, if you know that you could be doing better, but you're not, and if you have a growth mindset, if you're willing to kind of open your perception up a little bit and try new things. And if you've tried all the principles that Pinterest has to offer and you're ready to make a change, then this workshop is for you. It's not going to be for you if you want to get rich by being cheap. If you'd rather complain than take action. If you're looking to get rich quick, the truth is this training is about managing what you've got, not necessarily making more. If you don't want to work or grow, and if you like to make excuses, then none of the stuff I'm going to tell you today is going to help. And so before we get started, here are some house rules. Minimize all your other tabs and distractions. Get a notebook and a pen because we're going to move fast. I'm not holding anything back for you guys today. I'm going to tell you the entire system that I teach my clients. And if you can already hear, I'm excited about this. I talk fast. So you don't want to miss out if you're dilly-dallying on your Facebook. Okay, so let's get moving. All right, so does this sound like you? You did everything right. You work hard. You make good money, and you just feel like there's not enough left after paying your bills. When you try getting this stuff straightened out, you feel overwhelmed, or you feel like money is a dictator in your life. If you went to college to be able to have a good life, and now you're just financially kind of not where you want to be. If you make payments on your debts, but they never seem to go anywhere, they don't seem to go down, And you know that you make enough money to save, but it just doesn't seem to happen. If you've tried budgeting and it didn't work, if you stress and you worry about your money, if you've maybe had an argument with your spouse about money, and if money is the deciding factor in too many of your decisions, maybe you hate money, but then you love it, and then you wish it would come back, and then it goes away again, and you have this real strained relationship with money. Imagine what your life is going to be like when you're crystal clear about how much money it takes to really run your life, how much money you should be investing, how much money exactly it takes to pay the bills, how much money you should be saving for emergencies, and still enjoying your life and still spending money with, where you still get some lattes and things. And when you're making progress toward your life goals, I'm going to tell you that's the biggest frustration for people, is that they feel like they're going real fast and not making any progress. When you dictate the directions to your money, or like the $U bill will be invested, and you are going to be used for bills, and you are going to be spent on super fun things. And when you're confident about spending and saving, and you start to see possibilities and opportunities instead of just stress and worry. All right, so what would that mean for you? So this is what it meant for Lou. I'm going to read this email because it was, a portion of it, because it was too long to put on the slides today. All right, so Lou says, when he was first introduced to Sheep to Shark, I had a good income, lots of debt. I felt like I was barely treading water financially, and I had no real financial goals. I knew I didn't like the financial situation I was in, but I couldn't seem to make any lasting changes. Working with Brie, Sodano, and Sheep to Sharks has incredibly positive impact on my finance and life. Brie gave me a new financial mindset and the tools to change and shape my future to achieve my goals. One of the many things I learned through my experience with Sheep to Shark, 3 things stand out: financial awareness, creating a vision, and debt reduction strategies. And so this email goes on for a lot longer, so that's it. But I just want to say that over the course of the last few months, Lou has totally gotten his credit cards under control, and he's literally planning on quitting his job to hike the Appalachian Trail in the next 6 months. And that's stuff that we worked on together, and that's kind of a crazy goal. I mean, not too many of my clients are trying to quit their job to go hiking for 6 months, but the money matched his life goals, and I think that's super important to share because that's an outrageous situation. So most of my, you don't have to have something outrageous, but it's possible. And that's the thing that I want to say, is that financial independence is totally possible. These are other things that we've, and you use an investment property to pay off your student loans. Let the stock market work for you. Choose to work because you want to, not because you have to. I call it a little FU money for your boss. It's always nice to have. Like, you don't have to, when you're in charge, you want to be able to pay your bills without anxiety. I mean, simple things like take your kids out for ice cream without checking your bank account, without any stress about it. And you have to be able to manage your cash flow to stop bleeding money and to start stacking the cash. Start stacking cash. Okay. And you are here because you make enough money and you're really ready to be good at it. And you've tried budgets or cash envelopes and it didn't work. And you want to be rich and you need some help getting there. And when I say rich, I mean rich for you. Everybody's got a different definition. There's no like set dollar amount that puts you into this rich category. It's about living your fullest and most life richly. It's like living richly. And so I have some clients that it takes about $40,000 for them to cover everything, and they have a beautiful, simple life and they're happy there. I have other clients that want much more, and that's fine. They're both rich in their own way. If you don't want to steal ketchup or be a crazy couponer, and you want to enjoy your life and lattes and vacations, and you don't have to give it all up. And so listen, what I want to say is results are not typical, and that's honestly because results come from action and not from learning. Reading the recipe does not get the cake baked, friends. I'm going to walk you through the system that we're using to get great results, but please understand that my clients' results aren't typical because the average person who attends any training gets 0 results because they're there and they eat the knowledge, but they never do anything with it. And so the material is easy to understand, but that's not what's going to get you results. You have to take action. You have to Decide that you're going to do it, and then you have to execute to be able to get the changes that we're talking about. Okay? All right. So what we're going to cover today is that budgets don't work in real life. Debt-free is not a requirement to start building wealth. And I'm going to teach you the invisible system for cash flow management. So truth bomb 1, budgets and money envelopes don't work in real life. Okay. Did you know 39% of Americans report having no savings at all? Another 39 have outstanding credit card debt. 69% of Americans report having less than $1,000. And according to a government accountability survey, 55% of people 50 and over have no retirement savings. Another 78% of people in a bank survey report living paycheck to paycheck. So that's almost 8 out of 10 people are having this exact same money problem. So here's why budgets don't work. The first reason is blank sheet budgets are doomed for failure. If you've ever tried to budget and you start with a blank sheet of paper, there's no way it's going to work. And the reason is because our brains are not meant to keep tabs on all the line items of our lives. Your brain is just not meant for that. It's the wrong tool for the job. Mental accounting is fantastically flawed because we have habit blindness, which means that when you are in the habit of spending money in a certain kind of way, your brain disregards it as information. It doesn't hold on to it. And that's why it doesn't work. Budgets are really a business tool. They're meant to have all the information to be sitting at a table and use that to make your decisions. And that's how they're meant to be used. They're not meant as a household spending thing where you're not going to take your full budget to the grocery store. And so that's why budgets don't actually work. And habit blindness means when you start with your budget, you're going to give up the stuff that you remember doing, which is typically going to be the stuff that you love and enjoy, rather than the things that are just wasteful in your budget and don't do you any good or feel good or are fun. And so cash envelope systems, they're archaic. This is the same stuff that your grandparents were talking about. And they had a whole different, their lives were different. They had one job, the single income household, and they had all the time in the world. They don't work in real life. It's just an archaic system. They require so much running around. I have had a few clients that came to see me because they were trying it and it didn't work because they were all over the place. They were going to the bank a few times a week. The cash envelopes inspire more robbing Peter to pay Paul mentality. It makes your thinking oh, I don't have it in this envelope, so I'll just take it from that envelope. And the system just doesn't match our digital lifestyles anymore, so that it doesn't really work in real life. So the system I'm going to teach you takes the best of budgets and cash envelopes. Budgets are good for thinking ahead, projection, and clarity. They do have some upsides. Cash envelopes have a commitment device, which means you are actively choosing to do one thing or another. Making choices with your money is really where you want to end up. That's where the power is. And when you choose to say, I'm going to save this money or I'm going to spend it, and you're in charge of it, that's where the magic happens. All right. Truth bomb number 2. Debt-free is not the first step to building wealth. Baby steps are for people who want to be better at being poor. That's ballsy. I said that out loud. The idea that you have to pay off all your debt before you save is holding you back. It doesn't work, guys. And here's why. It's because what you focus on grows. And if you focus all of your attention and all of your cash flow on debt, then what ends up happening is you end up on this hamster wheel of debt, because real life happens right about where that dollar bill is. And so you're making moves on it, life happens. And now if you've put all your money toward your debt, then you don't have money saved. And now you're right back on the credit card because you still need money. Debt comes from the habit of needing money. So to get out of debt forever, you have to change that habit and start having money, which means you need to start saving. And so so you have to do it a little bit more slowly and sustainably. Look at the habit of needing money. And like I just said, you have to replace your habits. the habit of needing money is always the problem. If you need money, it means you've spent it before it's ever even come into your life. And so that is really the problem. That's where debt comes in. It's because you didn't have money saved. And so now you're in the habit of needing money. So you have to change the dynamics there. And so there are a few different things that you have to do to get rid of your debt forever. So the first is you have to change your mindset. You have to focus on saving. What you focus on grows. So stop focusing on debt. You have to focus toward what it is that you really do want. You want to think about what you want from your life and how your money is going to be a tool to help you get there. And then focus on that. Put a plan in place. The next slide, I'm going to go over the 7 different strategies to pay off debt. You want to pick a strategy and then set it and forget it. And I mean, make the payments, do it, track your progress, but you don't want that to be eating up too much of your mental attention, because that's where this stuff all goes bad. So you need to pick a strategy, the best one for you to pay off your debt, and then implementation. You put the plan in place and you do it. And then how you change the habits and how do you get that forever result is you have to change the habits that caused the debt in the first place. So on your mindset, you have to stop thinking that there's not enough, because when you think that you don't have enough, you will do things to get rid of your money. And listen, this sounds crazy, but I've witnessed this a zillion times. If you feel like you don't have money, then what you do is you get rid of your money. Think about an example of somebody that you know who's broke all year and gets a big fat tax refund, and that money is gone before it even ever hit their bank account. And or somebody that like gets a sweet paycheck, maybe works on commission, and then goes and fills up their cabinets at Costco or something. So you have to get out of that mindset of I don't have enough and start thinking about sufficiency, where you do have enough. Okay, so there are 7 different strategies to get rid of debt forever. So the first is a holding pattern. It's not that exciting. You typically would use a holding pattern strategy, which is making just the minimum payments when you're expecting a situation to change or when your money is super inconsistent. The second strategy is a snowball. You pretty much line your debts up from smallest to largest, and you take any extra money that you've been paying on your debts beyond the minimums, and you focus all of that money on the smallest debt first. And then you snowball your payment into the next smallest one, and then you pay that one off, and then you snowball it again until all your debts are gone. Then there's the snowball with the credit card shuffle. And so what that is it's a very similar plan to the snowball plan. All you do is you add in a 0% balance transfer. So if you have a lot of little cards, like $400 or $500, you have one big credit card that's a few thousand, then, or 2 big credit cards or whatever, then you might add in a credit card shuffle. So that way, at least you're making progress on the big debt while you're paying off all the small ones. And the interest is out of your way for a period of time. So the fourth is a personal loan. Now, I'm not really a huge fan of telling people to borrow money to pay back money, because it's counterproductive. That being said, sometimes you get into credit card debt a little bit too deep and you need to stretch it out over 5 years. You're probably going to be thinking about snowballs if you can do that within 3 years, 4 years. If you need more time than that to be able to make the payments make sense in your budget, then 4 and 5 personal loans and 401k loans will typically be the strategy that we would use. The thing is those things have risk, because now you're borrowing more money and it leaves all the money all your credit cards like wide open. And so you have to really be dedicated to changing those habits, because otherwise your mess will be twice as big. So 401k loan is when you borrow money from yourself, from your retirement, and you pay yourself back with interest over the course of 5 years. And consolidation service is number 6. That's when you go hire somebody to essentially negotiate your debts for you, get them down to 0%, and then they close them out, and you have a period of payback between 5 and 7 years, or 4 and 7 years for most people. Then the last one, the least favorable of all the options, is a bankruptcy. But it's there, and sometimes that's what you have to do. Mostly it's clients that had a major life change, as somebody gets divorced or dies, or a big sickness or a major change. But the credit card companies are allowed to charge 20% because they're risky investments, and that's the risk that they take. And so the most important thing though, no matter which habit you choose, no matter which habit is going to be best for you, or which strategy is going to be best for you, you have to end the habit of needing money and start the habit of having money, which means you have to start saving. Oh, look at, so this is Miss Marianne. So this is how she was my client, and we worked to get on track with her money goals. And you guys can see this. So she's all set up with the system. She's built savings and investments. She's got accounts where she doesn't worry about her unexpected costs or the stuff. Look at, she even makes the joke, car taxes. And so we've been working together. She's paid off one of her cards, and she will pay off all the rest of her stuff in no time. And that's it. So that's Miss Marianne. Okay, so being debt-free is like wearing your skinny pants. It's like a nice idea. We all want to be in our skinny pants all the time, but it takes some serious doing to be in your skinny pants all the time. And you can be perfectly healthy even if you're not in the skinniest of pants. And same thing for money. Okay? Oh, I'm going to take a sip of this water. All right. Truth bomb 3, the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. So this is the good stuff. This is the stuff that I teach my clients. So if budgets and cash envelopes had a baby that only got the good genes and was born in the digital era, that's how this system goes. And so we're going to look at our money into 5 different types. So, and the money is going to flow by order, like the order that we're going to go in. So the first step that you want your money to make is in your keep accounts. Now, this is money that you are going to use to invest. This isn't money that's for emergencies. This isn't money for rainy days or for vacations or for sandwiches or for any of your bills. This is money that you will only use to invest, and you have to do it first. And the reason is because if you try saving, your checking account is like a sieve. If you try saving from the bottom of it, it doesn't work. You have to get that investment money out before it ever gets into your hot little checking account. And that's just the truth. You have to pay yourself first. That's the way that it goes. So then the next thing that you're going to do with your money is put it into your bills account, the money that you need to use now for this month. And so most of us have a very consistent number of dollars that they need in that account every single month. And you're just going to put it in there. Now, the third place that you want your money to go is going to be into your working capital account, which is going to be the savings account that's attached to your checking account. Now, that is usually where most people mess up. If you have debt, it's probably because you don't have a working capital account. And so you have expenses that are not monthly. And a lot of times these are the expenses that surprise us, even though they're not surprises. You know, this is the stuff like car taxes, oil bills, hosting birthday parties for your kids, or having to go to weddings. It's usually 4 different categories of stuff. It's just like non-monthly bills, the stuff that comes up quarterly or semi-annually or even annually. It's big family stuff, like I said, like weddings or parties, things like that. It's your self-care. A lot of times we spend some money on self-care, but it's not necessarily a monthly expense. Like if you get your hair done every other month or every 3rd month, this is the stuff that messes with our money a little bit. And then the last one is foreseeable disasters. Like if you're going to need a new car, or you can tell that your water heater's on the fritz. So that way you want to lay all this stuff out and think about it and start kind of putting some money aside for it. Then you want your money to go to important things. Now, for most of my clients, this is saving for vacation and home renovations. That's pretty much what people are saving their money for. But you want to think about these things and plan ahead for the stuff that brings you the most amount of joy. Now, pocket cash, your spending money, is the last place that you want your money to go, because this is the stuff where you can bleed the most, and that also really brings you the least amount of joy. Like, how many sandwiches would you trade in for a family vacation? And I'm going to tell you, from seeing hundreds of people financially naked, that is very often the trade that they're making. They're trading in the big stuff that they want for sandwiches or for pizza. Just kind of poor planning. So those are the 5 types of money that you want to use. So how do you start to do this, right? The first thing you need to do is get clear on your numbers, because the truth is in the transactions. You have to know where your money has been going. You have to understand like where it's been disappearing to, so you know what habits to change. Then you have to understand where it goes like monthly. You have to know how to cover your nut. So what bills need to get paid when. You have to project for the unexpected, for those working capital accounts. You have to think about it in advance, so that way it doesn't catch you off guard. Plan for the cool stuff. And then you have to keep your pocket cash under control. But you also, it's super important to not get real austere with your budget. Like, you have to be able to buy yourself a latte if that's what you want, so that way your system works and it feels good and you can stick with it. If you try to go too austere, it backfires. So Melissa Salvia used my system and it worked for her. They got their finances under control. They're crushing their goals. They're in their dream house. They're managing expenses. They're saving for retirement. And they're even starting to save for family vacation. And so when they came to see me, we did so much work restructuring their money, because it was just going out all over the place. Like, it was just getting spent so fast, because they have 3 kids and they like to make those kids happy. And so their money was going all over the place, like so fast. So we put all these systems in place, and they still do the fun things that they want to do with their kids. Just now they're in their dream house instead of renting, and they're saving for retirement instead of not doing that. And they're going to be able to go on a family vacation, which is a pretty big deal. Okay, so you want to automate the savings, but spend it manually. Most people do it the other way. They have their expenses go out automatically, painlessly, without looking at it, and then they have to like feel the pain of saving. So you want to swap that. So you want to set up a bill payment system through your bank account. All the banks have them. And then you want to set up direct deposits for what money is going to go to what accounts, with the dollar amounts already there. It's like, imagine if you could have a diet where you could food prep once and just have it happen every single week. And so you want to set up the direct deposits from your paycheck into the right accounts. You want to invest automatically, but pay your bills manually. And you can set up a system so that way when you have all your stuff in your online bank account, you can go in and pay your bills in probably less than 15 minutes a month. It's the easiest thing ever. And you want to use your debit card or cash for your pocket spending, but you don't want pocket spending to have access to all the rest of your money. Like, you will very likely run out of pocket money, and that's okay. Because if you run out of pocket money, then that means that you stop spending it, and that everything else stays intact. So you want to kind of separate that out a little bit. Okay, so Gina Wallace took the class, and she thought it was really great. She learned a lot for herself, and she's a business owner. So she just needed to change the way that she looked at things. And we found a pretty substantial bleed for her. So she didn't think she was going to have money to save. And after we started working together, she's going to save, for the purpose of investing in her Keep accounts, she's going to save $900 a month. And so that's a really big deal for her, because she is a hairdresser. And so she's like self-employed. So she doesn't have a 401k or anything else. So that $900 she needs for her own security. And that's what she was able to do after working with me on the system. Okay. Yeah. So budgets and cash envelopes and manifesting money just doesn't work. I mean, manifesting money is a great idea. And I love the law of attraction. And the thing about it, though, is that the universe will not give you more money if you cannot manage what you have. If you're not good with a little, having more doesn't help. And so people will come, listen, there's a lot of people out there that love manifesting, and I'm one of them, but it just doesn't work that way. You have to manage what you have to be able to manage more. Debt-free. The idea of debt-free is keeping you broke, because what you're doing is running on a hamster wheel. You're putting all your money toward your debt, and then you're still in the habit of needing money. And you have to start to shift that to get to the habit of having money, which means very likely you're going to pay your debt off a little bit more slowly while building savings. So that way, then when life happens, you have money for it, and you can end the habit of needing money and being in debt forever. All right, and then I taught you the invisible system, the system where you set up your direct deposits and you use your online banking and you have commitment device and you've projected into the future for all the things that you really need to stay on top of. So that today I promised you the exact system that I use for my clients to manage their money, to pay off their debt without feeling like a pauper. And that's, no, all right. All right. Oh, and that's what I gave to you guys. So that system really works to manage the money. You have to put a plan in place to pay off your debt, and then you still have autonomous spending money. So that way you're not feeling like a pauper, like you're not feeling like you don't have money to even buy yourself a cup of coffee, because that is sad. Nobody likes that. Okay, so who wants to get their money stuff together? Whoo! All right, so now you guys have a choice. You can choose to stay in the situation that you're in a little bit longer with your cash flow. Or if you want to learn how to save money for investing, pay the bills without stress, have money for emergencies and for fun stuff, and still have money in your pocket for your freaking lattes, this is how to do it. This is the way to get there. And so I'm introducing Cash Flow Day, the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. Cash Flow Day. Like I said before, controlling your money is the first step toward building wealth. It's about clarity to use your money for what it is that you really want. So this, like I made a course about this to teach you exactly the invisible system. So that way you can have more control and it doesn't add more to your to-do list. Like this stuff is meant for real life. Most of my clients are busy people. They have kids and jobs and lives. Even if they don't have kids, they still are busy all the time. So they need a money management system that works in the digital age and for real life. So who this system is for is if you're ready for a change. You know, if you're really ready for it, if you're willing to do the work, because it takes a little bit of doing. You have to reorganize the way that you do things. And if you're ready to take action on this, you have to be ready to make the moves. And listen, you can start where you are. You don't need to be perfect. You don't. And in the course that I'm going to tell you about in a second, we go over, well, what happens when it doesn't work? When there's not enough money to stretch far enough to cover all the things. Listen, you don't need to be perfect. You just have to start where you are. Like, this is kind of like a health journey. You don't get to go from, you know, French fries and whiskey all the way to like kale sandwiches in 1 second. It takes a little bit of time in doing. All right. So like Kristen Marie. So she took the cash flow workshop and she believed that she was bad at money and she just didn't really know how to do it. And that was it. So the method that I taught her was the shift that she'd been craving. It's organized and easy to understand. And she's making moves toward her financial future. Oh, and she talks about embarrassment and shame. And listen, this is a big deal for people. Feeling embarrassed and shameful about their money is something, and it's so unreasonable because we were never really taught about money. Most of the people that I work with have never had any real conversations with their family about their money. They were never taught in school about their money. And so learning how to manage cash flow, like you get to adulthood and somebody like throws the keys to the money at you and is like, oh yeah, you know how to do this, right? It's easy. But it's not. Personal finance is complex and there's a lot of different ways to do things, and it's easy to mess up. And once you're messed up, it's hard to catch up. Okay, so cash flow day, the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. Do you guys want to hear about this? Are you ready to hear about this course that I'm going to teach you about? I hope so. All right. Oh, and listen, we're here. So if you guys have any questions about this, feel free to type them in the chat. We're live right now. So we will answer them. Either Alyssa will answer them for you right now, and then I will be answering questions at the end too. Okay, so what you're gonna get in this course, so what we're gonna go over, part 1 is saving to invest. We're gonna go through like easy peasy, make this stuff make as much sense for you to just get it done. So how much money do you need to save to even reach financial independence? And how much money are you on track to save for? And what is the best type of account? And how to set up your accounts and what to do if you aren't there yet. What to do if you can't save. We're going to go over all those things in part 1 of this, in the cash flow day. In part 2, we are going to get clear on how much your bills really cost every month. So that way you know exactly how much money needs to go into those accounts. And if this is unreasonable for you, then you can start to make the changes that you need to make. I'm going to show you how to even out your cash flow and end the feast or famine cycle. So many of my clients, money does this, where all their bills are due on one half of the month, and the other half of the month they feel like they have extra money even though they don't. And so they live in this constant cycle of scarcity and abundance, scarcity and abundance. It's so stressful. I'm going to show you how to organize your bills for maximum efficiency. So this way you can save time and stop worrying. I'm going to show you how to set up the online system. I'm going to show you how to set up direct deposits or automatic transfers. Okay. Part 3, I feel like, is super magical because this is where we start to project and we start to see into the future for how much our unexpected expenses might be. So this way you can start saving for it and how to run the numbers for the amount that you should be saving each month. I'm telling you, most of the people that come to see me, they just want to know how much they should be saving and how much they should be spending because they don't know. And so that lack of clarity messes them all up. And so that's what we're going to do in part 3 is we're going to go over your working capital so you will know exactly how much you should be saving for emergencies and unexpected expenses. And then in part 4 is how to set fun financial goals like vacations because your money is a tool for your life. It's not a dictator. Most of us operate under that mindset, but it doesn't have to be. You should be able to go on vacations or do a little home repair or be able to spend your money on some things that make you feel good. And you have to set money aside for that. And so we're going to go over how to set the goals, how to run the numbers, and how to set it all up online. So it's easy peasy. Part 5 is pocket cash. So once you go through your numbers, you're going to know how many dollars you can spend each week, like, on your lattes or your sandwiches or your margaritas or whatever freaking floats your boat. You're going to know exactly how many dollars. So that way you can balance your date nights and your groceries and your dinners out and your gas. And you can start to pick and choose. So that way you let some of those bad habits that leave you broke go and you spend your money on the stuff that makes you the happiest and brings you the most joy. And then part 6 is setting all of this stuff up. It's how to make your money go where you want it to go. It's how to set up the online systems. It's when to move money and when to leave it alone, how to manage the paperwork, and what to do when stuff isn't perfect. That's pretty much it. This system can be customized just for you. Like the system is good, but you gotta understand it and get the nuances. And that's the stuff that we're gonna go over in part 6. And so listen, all this stuff is a $1,497 value because this is life-changing stuff. So you're going to get the modules, saving to invest, how to pay your bills, how to project for savings and your working capital, your important things, your pocket money, setting up the invisible system, and the tools. This system puts you in charge of your money. This invisible system is going to help you find your money, manage it easily, stop worrying, and really be in charge of your own situation. And there's a couple bonuses because I recognize that some of the things that need to happen for this course to really get the results that you need, most people aren't starting from perfectly even, right? We have a little bit of a hole to dig out of. So I'm gonna do bonus modules. So the 7 strategies to get rid of credit card debt that we just went over in Truth Bomb 2, I'm going to go deep into those things. I'm going to show you each of the 7 strategies, teach you when each is the most appropriate for you. I'm going to show you how to do it. And that is all day worth $497. In fact, I had clients in a couple weeks ago, and we changed their strategy of their debt repayment, and they're going to save $4,392 on interest in just the first year, right? It's a big deal. Most of us are spending a lot of money on interest. Okay, so bonus 2 I'm going to give you, and this is breaking the scarcity cycle. This is about your mindset because honestly, when you are trying to change your habits without changing your mindset, you need to use a lot of willpower. It grinds. It's hard to do. And the willpower never lasts as long as the problem lasts. And that's why diets don't work. And that's why budgets fail. You have to change some of the mindset. You have to shift your perception around money from scarcity to sufficiency, where you know that you have enough, and it takes a lot of the pressure off of you. And so I have 5 money mindset, 5 of my favorite money mindset activities to shift those perceptions. That's really where a lot of the magic happens. Okay. Oh, Chris. All right. So it was a pleasure working with Brie Sodano. She's bright and talented. Well, that's nice. I should say thank you to him. All right. And so you guys can see that. So Chris Ricci said all these super nice things about me. Okay. Bonus 3 is common problem habits and solutions. So listen, most of us have the exact same money issues, and it's because we really live in a consumer-based society where we have so many available things that we're super inefficient. We're going out like gathering things all the time, and we waste a lot of time and so much money doing it. And so I've synthesized this down to like the most common spending problems and their solutions and possible different ways that could fit for you in your life. So we're going to go over like how to save money on groceries without couponing, how to save money at gas stations without being nuts, how to just be more efficient and more succinct with our actions. So this is bonus 3 because when you're shifting your habits, you need some guidance. You have to replace habits. If you just try to take a habit out of your life and get rid of it forever, it doesn't work. You have to replace it with something else. And so we're going to talk about all that. So that way, as you're shifting these habits and getting your money into the system that actually works, you can stick with it. It will last. Oh, all right. And bonus 4 is a free bonus. I'm not even charging for this. So you're going to get access to the Shark School Facebook community. I go live every single week. You'll end up with a tribe full of people who are in the same boat as you, who want the same things that you want, and are willing to share their money stories, because money is taboo and we don't like to talk about it. And that makes it hard to improve when everybody's operating in the dark. So this is a community where you can put all your stuff out there, share, help people, be helped. And I go live every single week answering questions and I'm in there pretty often answering questions, me or Alyssa, making everything work for you guys. All right. So what you guys get is the $1,497 cash flow day, the invisible system, the course where we're going to go over the 6 parts of the program: saving to invest, paying the bills, saving for like emergencies in your working capital, saving for the fun things, pocket money, and putting all this stuff together in the invisible system, showing you exactly how to operate all this stuff in the digital era. You're going to get all the tools and the community, and you're going to get the bonus 1, the 7 strategies for paying off debt. You're going to get bonus 2, breaking the scarcity cycle, and you're going to get bonus 3, which is the problem habits and solutions. And so when you add all this stuff up, it is a $2,988 total value. And I'm telling you that just the money that you're probably going to save on your credit card interest might be worth $2,988 just this year. Most of my clients find they stop bleeding somewhere between $500 and $1,500 a month. It's money that they're just losing every single month. They don't know where it goes. It just gets spent so fast. And listen, this is money that's going to places that just isn't enhancing their lives. It's not making them any happier. And so the investment for this program is $297. So again, you're going to get the 6 parts to this program, the tools and the community. It's a $1,497 value. And then you're going to get a $497 bonus on the 7 strategies to get rid of credit card debt forever. You're going to get a $497 bonus on breaking the scarcity cycle. Listen, that money mindset, those activities, so good. Like, that is where the changes are really made on that like deep subconscious level. So that way this stuff sticks. And then I'm going to show you in bonus 3, a $497 habit or $497 bonus, all the changes that you can make in your habits and how to make the changes in your habits. So that way you're not just taking something out and not replacing it, because that doesn't work. And so all these things together make this system go smoothly and wonderfully. And it's only $297 today. It's just one payment of $297. For most of you guys, you're gonna lose $297 this month. Like, you're just gonna lose it. You're not gonna know where it's gonna go. So listen, this is for you to find and fix the bleed. I mean, how much money do you lose every month? How much money are you bleeding every month where the money goes so fast that you didn't even realize that you were spending it? For most people, it's a lot of money. So it's time to make that choice, guys. All right. And so my personal guarantee is, you guys, look, I don't want you to take any risk. I think this program is fantastic. I love it. I've seen it work with hundreds of clients. So I'm giving you guys 7 days to check it out. No questions asked, ironclad guarantee. Like if you go in and you don't like it and you don't think it's going to work, then just ask for a refund. If you're not like totally happy with it, that's what it is. I'm confident that you are going to love it. And if you don't, then just ask for your money back. 7 days. Yeah. And that's it. All right. So let's hear from Jody Podgorski. Jody Podgorski. So I'm just educating people on their finances. She came to Cash Flow Day Live. And she was never taught this in school. So for her, it was super enlightening to go over all this stuff and realize how to manage it and know how much money to save and know how much money to spend. It's exciting stuff once you have perfect clarity and you know where you want everything to go. You can start making powerful choices. So again, guys, now's the time. Alyssa, can you put the link in the chats? All right. So the link is in the chat box for you guys to click on it. So again, you get the $1,497 value of the course where we're going to go over the 6 different things that you need to know: how to save to invest, what type of accounts, how much money you should be saving, how compounding interest works. We're going to break it down and make it so easy for you. Then you're going to learn how to pay the bills, how to make it nice and simple, how to even out that feast or famine cycle. And then we're going to project into the future so your money stops catching you off guard and stressing you out. How to be prepared for when your oil comes and when you need to order oil. How to be prepared for when your car taxes are coming. And we have this cool crystal ball thing so you can project for a full year to see where any shortfalls are going to be. And there we're going to talk about using credit responsibly. Then you get the 4th part about saving for fun things that you enjoy in your life, saving for vacations, saving for house repairs, saving for the stuff that really makes you feel happy. The last part is about spending, and that's where a lot of that habit stuff kicks in. So you're going to know exactly how many dollars you should be spending each week, so that way you don't ruin the rest of your system. But that autonomous spending and not being super strict about it allows this system to work because you don't have to go into deprivation mode, and it's wonderful. And then you're going to get all the tools and the community. And then you're going to get bonus 1, the 7 strategies for getting rid of your credit card debt forever. And that one, we're going to take you through it strategy by strategy. I'm going to explain when each strategy is most appropriate and how to get it done. And that alone is probably worth the entire $2,988 because most of us are spending a ton of money on interest every single month, every single year. Then you're going to get the bonus 2, breaking the scarcity cycle. So I've gone through my 5 most effective, my 5 favorite money mindset activities are powerful. So that way you can start to shift your perception around your money and make these changes really last. So that there's a big difference between going into Target and wanting things but not buying them and not wanting things. There's a very big difference there mentally because the first you have to use willpower and then that wears you out. The second one is you don't want it because you just don't want it. You're like, I don't want any more of this stuff in my house. Like, I just don't want it. There's a very big difference in how you feel about your spending when you change your perception around stuff. And then the third one is about habits. It's about replacing bad habits with habits that are better. It's about making your habits match what you want, match your life goals. And again, this is where my system differs because it's not just, here's how to make the math work. Making the math work is easy. Like you can go look really on the budget apps. You can really do it. The budget apps make the math work, but that's not how to get real results. Real results need to be from a human, an imperfect human who has a zillion other things to do. And so changing habits and mindset on a fundamental level is how to get these results to stick, how to make the stuff last. So again, it's a $2,988 value. And my 6-month clients pay way more than this to get this exact system delivered. And so this is the do-it-yourself version, and it's wonderful. And it is only $297. So you guys can follow the link below to get the Cash Flow Day, the invisible system. I'm super pumped about it. I think you're going to love it. Like, it's just so good. I've tested it. We've tried it. We've tweaked it, made it just wonderful. All right. And if you're listening to me and you know that you need so much more help than a do-it-yourself course, like if you're like, man, this sounds great, but I know I need some hand-holding. I know that I need more, that you're just not a do-it-yourself kind of person, and you want to work with me for 6 months, you can fill out the application at briesodano.com. A lot of my clients, we work together for 6 months, and we do planning and implementation and cash flow and mindset work all together in 6 months. And so if you know that the DIY isn't for you, then that's fine. You can just apply there. Alyssa, do you have any the questions? Actually, okay, I'm gonna go in and answer some of the questions. What kind of questions do you guys have before we finish up? Oh, where'd it go? Really? Did you answer all of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything I should comment on?
No.
Okay. So don't bleed one more month. Don't miss out on one more savings opportunity. And don't make more payments without a strategy. Don't waste your money on interest without any sort of plan. If you guys are bleeding a lot of money, like most people bleed between $500 and $1,500 a month. That's literally what we find. Like we just find that money and start allocating it toward what it is that they really want. So don't bleed another savings opportunity. And so it's really time to make that choice. You can choose to stay right where you've been at in your money situation a little bit longer, or you can choose to do it. You can choose to get the system, to get organized, super neat, super clean. And you have the 3 bonuses to get rid of your credit cards, to change your habits, to change your mindset, and the system to make it all work, make everything ready to go. So do it. It's time. And again, if you need a higher level of service, if DIY is not for you and you want to work with me for 6 months, you can go ahead and fill out the application at briesodano.com to talk to me and work on that. And for that, you would definitely have to be ready. It's an investment, and I don't know. I love doing it. It's my favorite. But so it is time. So we are at the end of this. Thank you guys for hanging out with me on a Saturday. I very much appreciate it. And so very shortly you will get the worksheets, the preview from the packet in your inbox, and that's it. So I hope you're ready to work with me. So sheep2sharks.com, CF order form for the invisible system to stop bleeding money and start stacking cash. Or you can go to briesodano.com if you want to be one of my 6-month clients. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday. Again, thank you for hanging out with me, and I'm looking forward to working with you. All right. Bye, guys.